Alright, what's up guys? This is going to be the Metrix onboarding video. I'm going to try to walk you through getting the tool into your Google Drive account and then get all the onboarding files for your initial kind of download of everything, and then from then on it's more of a daily operation. So the first step you're going to want to do is log into the members area, and you can look down in the description for where you can get signed up if you're not signed up yet. But once you have access to our premium tools, you can just go and find Metrix in the members area and click on that. You'll want to be already signed into a Google account. I do recommend creating just a fresh Google account that you can use with the FBAExcel tools, so you're not using your personal Google Drive account. Just makes things a little cleaner and easier. So you'll just hit make a copy, and this is just going to save the Metrix Google Sheet inside your Google Drive account. Just takes a second. Alright, and then once it saves, you'll just want to kind of let it finish loading and do its thing. If you go clicking around, sometimes it acts a little funny, so just give it a second here. Alright, and then once that finishes, you'll just go ahead and enter your FBAExcel login. I like to just enter the login and not the email, so I'm just going to plug that in there. And your FBAExcel password as well that you use to log into the website. And then you can also put in your Helium 10 account ID. I'll show you where that is here in a little bit. And then the Metrix tab URL, that's going to be over here. Just click on the second tab and just go ahead and grab the URL up here. If you click twice, it'll give you the HTTPS. So just copy it like that. And then again, I have to give it just a second. And then if you hit Control Shift and then the letter V as in Victor, that will paste values. That's a good practice to use whenever you're pasting data into FBAExcel tools. It keeps all the formatting kind of in check. Alright, so once you have that, we're just going to do a one-time authorization. Alright, and then when this window comes up, just hit Continue. And then since you're already logged into your Google account, you just go ahead and click your Google account there and hit Advanced and go to Metrix down there at the bottom. And here's where it shows you the permissions, and this is why it's nice to kind of have a dummy Google account, is because we do need access to some Google Drive folders and some other things with Metrix especially. So it's good to just kind of have a fresh Google Drive account to start with. Alright, then you'll hit allow, and then that's pretty much it for the one-time authorization. You won't need to do that anymore when you come back into the tool. If you ever do open the tool and your Metrix title here, header menu is not available, you can always click this button here and it'll display that, but you can see here it's just got kind of the onboarding. And if you're ever troubleshooting a authorization issue with FBAExcel support, you'll likely want to come up and hit this button here, and it'll basically log in and verify your account and then return what kind of profile you have. So basically just click that, give it a second, and then it'll return the Apex bundle. Right now is the only plan we have available that has the Metrix included, so that'll just display there. Alright, and then so next step is you're going to want to hover over step 3 here and just click on that, and it's going to take you to a Chrome extension, and you'll just want to download this and save it to Chrome. So you do need to be using the Chrome browser to use Metrix, but once you have that, you're done there. Alright, and then the next step, you're going to want to hover over step 4 here and just click once. It's going to take you to a shared Google folder structure, and this folder structure is really important for Metrix to function properly. So what you're going to want to do is just come up here and hover over Metrix folders, and if you click once and then click download, it's going to actually download the zip folder and then save it to your computer. But we're just going to kind of keep it here down in the web browser download folder. So I'm just going to download it to my desktop. That's fine. I'm just going to title it zip. Alright, and then hit save. Alright, and then you can actually get out of that now. And what you're going to want to do is go to your Google Drive account. You can see here I've got kind of the Metrix folder structure that I'm going to be working with. I've already got test files in here. But once you actually once you actually download that zip folder, what you can do is just drag it right up to your Google Drive account once you open your Google Drive folder like this, and you'll see it's under a zip format, so you just want to double click on that. And then you can actually go up here and make sure it says zip extractor. Just go ahead and hit that. All right, and then once it does that and kind of shows all the folders, just go ahead and hit extract, and that's just going to extract all those folders to your Google Drive account, and then you'll have those ready. And it is important that you only have one copy of these folders named the exact names in your Google account. So if you have multiple copies, you're going to have issues with running Metrix on a daily basis. But now if we go back and just get out of here, you can see once we refresh it that we've got our folder here. The upper level root folder name doesn't matter, so you could actually change that. It's these folders in here that matter. So it's actually not even this level, it's the lowest level. So it's got to be pricing space dash space imported, pricing space dash space new, and each of the 4 main folders are set up this way. So what's going to go in here is going to be a pricing report that I'll show you how to download. What's going in here is our Helium 10 organic rank files, and you're going to always put the new downloaded files each day in the new folder, and then they'll automatically get moved to imported once they download into the system. So that's kind of how the process works. SKU files, these are going to be business reports, and then static, that's going to have like our daily ads report, which will get moved as well to imported. So one important thing I want to mention, if you don't do the process I just showed you, and you may download it to your desktop, there's multiple ways to get the folder structure into Google Drive here, but if you download it to like a Windows desktop, I've noticed an error that people keep having with these desktop INI files showing up. So if you save it to your desktop and then upload it to Google Drive, you get these automatically in every folder and every subfolder within that directory. So if that happens and you have these in your folders, you actually just need to go through and delete each one of them. But if you go through the process I just showed you with unzipping it, you don't have that issue, so I would just recommend doing that. All right, so I'm actually going to delete this because I did mention that if you have multiple copies of those root folder or the subfolders, you're going to have issues. So I don't want to have issues. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm actually going to delete this zip folder. So you can see I've got some other files here. I'm actually just going to go into those kind of as I do the demo here. So let me get out of that, and I'm going to hop back into Metrix. So we've created our Google Drive report folders. Now we need to actually go through the onboarding sequence. So the onboarding sequence is up here in the menu. You just hover over here, and this video here you're watching is right here, so you can click that if you ever forget. But what you're going to basically do is 5 steps here. The first step is we're going to go and grab our inventory report, our pricing report, and our ads report. Then our step 2 is we've got to go grab a series of business reports. And I like to grab at least like 14 days, ideally the past 30 days, because that's going to match our ads report. We're going to grab our daily past 30 days for our ads report to get started. So this is just kind of the onboarding, getting initial data into the system, and I just recommend going ahead and getting 30 days and kind of starting from there going forward. So make sure you are logged into your Amazon account and just go ahead and hit this button here, and it's going to automatically jump you into the screens you need to be in. All right, so the first thing you want to grab is just click over here and click All Listing Report, and that's going to give us a export of all of our products. So you just hit that, hit Request Report, and then it'll show up here under All Listing, and you'll just hit Download. One thing I forgot to mention, if on the toolbox screen there's a a desktop application for Mac or PC that allows you to kind of sync your Google or your downloaded files right to your Google Drive from your desktop. So that's really handy. It reduces the amount of clicks you have to mess with, and so I'd recommend clicking there and go ahead and just download that. But once you download that, you'll just click one time and you'll see your window will pop open. If this window doesn't pop open automatically, what you need to do, and you can see it's in text format, but your folder structure I mentioned is you can drag your folders. Anything with a cloud here is my Google Drive folder. So that's what's nice. You can actually create these favorites and just drag and save your files right to the folders. But if this window doesn't always pop up automatically for people, you need to go to this 3 dots, hit Settings, Advanced Downloads, I bet. Yeah, right here. So you want to make sure this is on. and then it'll ask you where to save each file. All right, so step 1, get your all listing report, save it to your Google Drive just so we can import it into Metrix, and you can close out of that one. Step 2 is request your CSV version of the fee preview report, so it's down here on the left. And same deal, save it to your Google Drive account so we can open it up in Metrix. All right, at this step, it's actually going to take you to a manage pricing page that I don't know a lot of people use in your Seller Central account. So I'm using it to actually grab like your BSR, your inventory data, and some other data that is just really not found anywhere else in any reports easily. So this central report, if you align the columns in this specific way, allows you to capture some of this BSR, or the BSR data and things like that we can grab on a daily basis. So just for this first onboarding, now that we have this Chrome extension, you're going to just click one time kind of here in the middle and hit HTML scraper and hit copy table to file. If you do have a lot of products, you'll want to go down to the bottom, and you'll by default I think have 250 results per page. If not, just make sure that that's kind of your default setting. I think it will be, but you'll right click and then copy table to file, and then you're going to name this file just the date. So it's 1/1, and then the nomenclature, you just put a dot, and if today's the 15th, it'll be like that, .21, and then you'll hit OK, and then it's going to again open you up in this window because we've got that setting in our Google Drive account. And then you can go into your folder structure, and then I don't have this link to the right Google account right now, but you'll just put it in the pricing folder. So if I go back to this Google Drive account here, I'll show you an example in pricing, and you can see we're always going to put new files that we download in the new folder. So new, and then there you can see I've got one for the test here for October 11th, 2021. So you just save that file like we just did, and you'll save it into pricing new. And then the next day, same deal. You'll just copy the one file, save it, and save it into pricing new. Now, if we go back, it's really important that the column headers are in this exact layout. So what you want to do is just kind of pause the video right here, and I'll zoom in and just make sure you have these exact boxes checked. And then you can just scroll down and hit save changes, and you should be good to go there. All right, so that's the pricing report. The ads report, all we need is our daily last 30 days product advertising report, or advertised products report. So not the search term report. A lot of people get this one wrong. So advertised products, I've already got one built right here, advertised products daily, and that's the last 30 days. So to create a new one, just come up here, create report. If you don't have one already, you're going to change this to advertised product. This is going to be daily. This is going to be the last 30 days. And you'll hit now's fine, hit run report. And then once you have it in here, if you already have one like I do, you can, where'd it go? Just hit run report, and then you wait for this date here to change to last run being today, and then you can download it right here. And then same deal, we're going to actually save that to our Google Drive account, and you're going to put that one in the static folder, and then you're going to name it ads, just ADS, right like that. So not ads.xlsx, that's going to do that the suffix automatically. You're just going to call it ads with capital A. All right, so that's that one. And then I'm not going to worry about the keyword tracker right now. We'll do that last. But just to kind of recap what we've saved so far, we've done the ads report in the static new folder. If I back up, we've got our pricing report, and we just save that as the date with dots in between the month, day, and year. All right, and then you don't have to write the text. That'll do that automatically as well. So now we need to actually go back and get our business report data. And this is a little bit tedious, but it's not too hateful. So we're just going to hop back into Metrix, and we're going to go back to the onboarding sequence here. You can see we've downloaded our inventory report, our pricing report, and our ads report. Now we haven't done anything with our inventory reports yet. We'll do that here in a minute, but let's get our business reports first. So I like to grab, like I said, the last 30 days of our business reports. So you can start out by just hitting the last 14 days. And we just do it in two phases like this because it tends to bomb out Google Chrome if you open too many tabs at once. But what you'll see here is if we just click on this first one, and you already got to be logged into your Amazon account for these tabs to show up correctly, but it's going to actually set the date automatically for you in the fields here, and you can see today's the 15th. It goes back 2 days just because the data is a little bit delayed, so you can grab today's and yesterday's as well if you want, but you can just manually change that. So all you need to do from here is you'll click download one time on each of these tabs, and you're going to name it the date that is shown up here in the date picker. So 11.13.21, that's what we're going to name this file. So we just go to download. It's going to ask us where to save it. Again, if you've got this desktop app installed, you can just go find that folder, and then you'll so like here you'll go to for this one it's going to be the SKU folder, and then you're going to go to new, and then you're just going to name it, what did we say, the 13th, so it's going to be 11.13.21, and then we hit enter, or we hit save. So that's that one. I'm not going to do it because I've already got test files. So then once we're done with that one, we just go to the 12th, and same deal, download, save it to the SKU folder, and it'll just be saved right next to that last one we did, but it'll be named 11.12.21, and then we just go through each of these tabs until we've gotten all 14 of them. And then once we're done with that, we're actually going to go back and hit that additional 14-day button in Metrix, and it's going to open up the other 14 days. So then we're just going to go here and then go back to onboarding, and then we're going to go back to here and hit plus 14 more days, and then we're going to save those the exact same way in the exact same folder. And then once we've gotten all that, we've pretty much gotten all of the reports we need now to do our onboarding sequence. And before we do that, we need to paste our inventory report data though into this special table. So we just click on step 3 here. It'll ask us, are we sure we want to go there? Hit yes. All right, and then what you want to do at this stage is just go to file, import, and we're going to grab the inventory reports that we downloaded. So file, import, and here you can see I'm in my kind of test Google account. So I go to fee preview and the all listing report are the two we downloaded. So let's just get both of those into the system. So just double click and then click insert new sheet, hit import data. Okay, that's our all listing report. Let's get our fee preview, same deal, import, fee preview, insert new sheet, import data. All right, now for this one, if you're in the US, we're just going to click once on the filter there and do Z to A, and then we just want to grab the inches data and copy that guy, and then we're going to go to the Seller Central Report tab and just paste that here. Again, Control-Shift-V is in Victor, and then just make sure you don't overwrite the price column over here. That's going to automatically populate your lowest price. And then for the all listing report, we just need to grab a few columns off of this guy. So seller SKU is going to be the first one. Then we want to get the item description or the name. You can do either one. I'm going to do description, and then I'm going to grab ASIN, and actually I'm going to grab the name. It's shorter. This is default data. So seller SKU, item name, and then this ID type. This tells us if it's FBA or FBM, so you'll be able to tell just by looking at your items. But number 3s and I think number 4s are also FBA, so just name those FBA if that's all you want to track, and then pull those in just by copying those 4 columns. We're going to go to Seller Central Report, Control-Shift-V, and now we can go ahead and delete these guys, or you can hide them, whichever one. I always delete them. All right, now we've done all the tricky parts now. The next step is we've just got to import our data, and the report I didn't go over was the helium-10 keyword report. I'm going to go over that last, but so far we've pretty much gotten all of the inventory reports. We've actually pasted that data in. We've got the pricing report, the ads report, we've got our business reports saved. And again, it's very important you save those in the right place within your Google Drive in that Metrix folder structure, and they're always going in the new folder. They'll get moved automatically to the imported folders. All right, So we've gone through step 3. Now we got to do is step 4 and step 5, and then we're home free. So one thing you can do in Google Sheets that I recommend before you actually go through and click this onboarding sync step is actually to save a version, just in case every once in a while, if like your internet connection's real slow, it'll time out because it does take it a few minutes to actually pull in all the reports. So if it does time out and you start having issues, it's better to delete some of the SKU reports and kind of do it in a couple stages so you can get all the data in here. And then after you have the data in initially, it's easy on a daily basis because it doesn't take as long. But the way you can save a version is you just go to File, Version History, Name Current Version, and I can just say like before onboard. Then that way you can always go back to this exact place in your Metrix system if you do have that sort of error. So it's a way you can kind of revert back to a historical place. So to get back to this place, if you do have the error, you just come back here, Version History, see Version History, and then there'll be a place you can actually click to revert back. I'm going to do a quick recap of our folder structure and what we have saved where. So basically in the pricing folder, if I double click there and go to new, you see there I've got a test file for the 11th of October. Keep in mind when you save these date files, you aren't adding the .txt. It does that automatically based on the file type. So I'm going to back up one there and go to the rank. So I don't have any rank files yet. I'm going to do an example after we get the dashboard built out, but those rank files will go in here for the new ones. And then for the SKU business reports, if I go to new, you can see I've got from September 15th all the way to October, looks like 11th. So that's just some test data there. But yours will be the same way. And again, you're not adding the .csv on the end. It does that automatically. So you're just doing the date. Just make sure you do this exact nomenclature. And for like single digit days, just do a single digit. Don't do like 05. And then for the static reports, the only one we're currently using is the ads report. So you're just naming that ADS ads, and that's again the advertised products report. It's the daily version for the past 30 days is what I recommend starting with. You don't have to do 30 days. You can do 14 days. You can do 7 days. You can do whatever you want. But the dashboard is going to get built out starting from 30 days prior than the current day. So keep that in mind. All right, and then once you have all those files in there, you've got your all listing and fee preview reports data pasted in, you're ready to start the onboarding process. And before I execute that, just to explain kind of how this whole system works, basically as you can see, we've got 2 specific folders in each one of these kind of root folders, and one of them's a new, one of them's an imported. On the onboarding and through subsequent days when we update this system, we're just going to go here, and instead of the onboarding, we're just going to use these 3 steps. So we're just going to go back, download our pricing report, which is the same as the BSR report, the ads report. For the ads report on a daily basis, we won't need to get the 30. We can just do like the past 3 days or the past 7 days. It's good to have a little bit of an overlap from span to span type of deal. So keep that in mind. The daily business reports, you can just grab like the past 3 days or 7 days. Again, have a little bit of an overlap. It'll automatically remove any duplicates and deal with that. And then once you've got that saved, you're going to keep using the new folders within these kind of root folders. And each time the system updates, it's going to move any of the new folders to the imported. So if you ever want to go back and see your imported files, they'll be in here, and I'll demonstrate that after we do the onboarding. But keep in mind as well, the way it works is you don't have to have kind of all the files in every folder. You can just update some of them if you want. If you just want to update your business reports, you can just navigate to the SKU folder and add your business reports here for the days that either you're missing or you want to update. The other thing to keep in mind with that concept is on your onboarding, because you have so many files, there's a time limit Google Sheets gives you. I think it's like 6 minutes. So if it takes longer for you to import all your initial files, more than 6 minutes to do that, you're going to want to split it up. So you could just as easily as, I've got every kind of file set in the new folder right now, ready to onboard. You could just as easily not like put the ads report, for example, inside the new folder for the ads. So let me just do an example there and I'll take that out. So I'm just going to go here. I'm going to go to new. The ads report can be quite large if it's, the past 30 days and it's daily data. So I'm going to go ahead and right click and just move this to the root folder and out of this kind of subdirectory static new. So I'm just going to move it back one and I'm going to put it right there. And now it's going to actually skip the static folder and just move on to the next one in the script process. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this. So what you're going to do is just come up here and you're going to click Onboarding Sync, and then it's going to start importing all those files that we have in the new folders. And then once it's done, it's actually going to prompt us to move on to step 5. But because we didn't add the ads folder and we know we need that, we're going to have to go back, add that to our new folder, and then come back and execute step 4 one more time. So I'm just going to demonstrate that real quick, and I'll be right back. So I'm going to click step 4 now, and you'll see it start to work. All right, you are going to get one more prompt here before it executes, and it's just going to remind you kind of the format and which files go where. Again, I don't have the ads folder in the static one right now. I don't have this one. We're going to do that as kind of a phase 2, pretending like our data right now is too much to really onboard for the first iteration. And you may or may not have that situation. If you have a lot of SKUs, you have a lot of data, you likely will, and you may just need to kind of break it up into a couple steps. Another easy thing you can do is for the SKU folder, you've got so many of those individual business reports, maybe just do like 14, run your onboarding and sync all that data, then go back and drag the other 14 in, and it'll pull in just fine. So go ahead and hit yes, and it's going to pull in everything but the ads report now. So it's just finishing up importing the SKU files right now. That's why you see so many of those green loading bars in the upper right keep finishing. You just want to make sure you wait until that's completely done, and you'll get a prompt here in just a few seconds. And once that prompt comes up, we're going to go back and grab the ads report, put it in the new folder, and then we'll go ahead and just redo this onboarding kind of initial data sync. So there we go. We got the prompt to go to step 5, but again, you've got to know that if you didn't go through and add all the correct files and you left a few out just for the sake of onboarding quicker, you got to go back and grab that. So I'm going to go back to the static root folder where we put the ads file. I'm just going to drag it into new. And now I'm going to go back to Metrix and just go to onboarding and click onboarding sync again. And that's just going to look at, again, all the new folders within those subdirectories. But because we already imported the initial set, everything but the ads report, all it's going to do now is just pull in the ads report. And then it may do a couple other just little things like copy some formulas across, but it's not going to be anything that takes too much time. So there you can see the ads tab automatically gets pulled in. All the static files in that folder will get automatically pulled in as a new tab, where the others that aren't in the static folder are going to get pasted the data into existing tabs. So that's just kind of the way the system works. One other thing to keep in mind about the ads report specifically, it's always going to be the advertised products report. It's never going to be the search term summary report, which a lot of people get confused by. So you'll just want to make sure you always grab the daily version of the advertised products report. And when you're doing this on a daily basis going forward, you don't necessarily need 30 days. It's actually going to take quite a bit longer if you always do 30 days. So I'd recommend, if you update this every 3 days, maybe grab your 7-day report so you have a 4-day overlap, and that'll just work fine. So done with that now, hit OK, and you've pretty much got all your initial report data in there, so not too hateful. All right, and then I'm just going to go to the last step here, hit step 5, and you'll see it's just going to paste in our kind of all listing data that we had entered in before, and it's going to just build us a little table here that we're going to use on subsequent videos here, where I'll go into the features of Metrix in another video. All right, so here's the cool part. You can actually see the dashboard starting to get built out with all the data. That's basically it. So you've got your initial dashboard now kind of set up. You want to let this initial loading bar finish. It is still doing some calculations and stuff in the background. It's not completely done until this bar completes. And every once in a while I've noticed it will tend to lag on just this initial onboarding script. So one thing you can do if it freezes up or seems like it's lagging is just refresh your sheet and it'll kind of come back to life after that. All right, so there we go. You should be able to start clicking around once the loading bar finishes completely and kind of everything's done loading. That's how you know. The other thing I'll mention in this video is you may get some weird kind of formatting issues. I don't see any right now, but you may see some like gray lines just in random places. That's just something with Google Sheets and conditional formatting. But what you can usually do to address that is just change the zoom. And it has to do with like the resolution of your monitor, I believe, but usually like 95 works pretty well. So if you just change it a little bit, you can kind of find that magic number that works well on your monitor. And then the last step I wanted to cover actually in this video is going to be the rank tracking. So you can see it's the metrics, the kind of core intent of this tool is to track all your daily metrics in Amazon for any FBA or FBM item that you want, and you can just see pretty much every metric under the sun, and we've built it in such a way that we'll be able to add quite a few more as time goes on. So this is just definitely an initial version and a lot more features to come. So I'm probably not even going to cover all of the features and kind of all of the icons and stuff up here because they are changing here as we learn more and decide kind of how we want to build it out. But the rank tracking is pretty powerful. You can actually use Helium 10's organic rank tracker to track specific keywords. And what we've got is if you actually go in, and let me pull a keyword dominator. So if you haven't seen our keyword dominator pro, I'd recommend going and checking that tool out. It's super powerful for building out target keyword lists. And all right, so this file right here is for this ASIN ending in PNY. And what you'll have is a rank targets column here. And you can basically identify your top 25 targets that you want to track. And these would be the ones you actually want to put into Helium 10's organic rank tracker. And what you can do to do that quickly is, actually I'm going to import these into Metrix first, and then I'm going to add them to Helium 10. That's just maybe a simpler way, but you can use this column over here to identify the 25 you want to add. And the 25 is kind of the max limit that we've got set right now, but we can always increase that in the future if needed. But you can see I've identified 25 targets here, and what I'm going to do is just grab the ID of this Google Sheet, and we're going to go back to our SKU dashboard that got built out, and we're actually, this KD stands for Keyword Dominator link, and you're just going to find that PNY, I believe it was, yep. And you're just going to do Control-Shift-V like we talked about before. And that's going to actually tie it now to that product in Metrix. So if we go back now to our dashboard, find P and Y, which it looks like, so here's these gray lines. Let me stop here. So 95 is not the magic number for this monitor. 100 looks like it works. Let's try 90. 90 is not bad. So yeah, there's still a few, but you can mess with that. It bugs a perfectionist like me, but it may not you. So let me just go there. All right, so P and Y. So what you're going to do is click these little plus buttons, and that's going to open up some additional tracking. So what you'll have initially is this reference error, and as soon as you add a link, you're going to get a access button. You just need to kind of hover over these reference errors and hit allow access once, and that's actually going to import and sync to that keyword dominator file. And you can see it pulls in our top 25 keywords. So now what we can do, I'm going to change that to 75. We can actually add these to our Helium 10 organic rank tracker. So I can just copy those. And on a daily basis, if you use these reports here, let's see. I don't believe I have helium-10 set up yet for this. I need to add that. Okay, yeah, I do have it. Okay, so you can click on that for your daily reports, and it's going to open you to the different areas that you need to download your daily, your business reports, your advertising reports. So exact same process we went through in the onboarding. It's just going to be a much smaller, span, maybe the course of a couple days as opposed to the past 30 days. But for your organic rank tracker in Helium-10, you do need an account. We've got an affiliate link if you need that to get quite a bit off from a discount. But if you already have it, just come up and click Add New Product. You're going to put in your ASIN here and then just paste in your keywords and then hit Start Tracking. And then after, it'll probably take a day or two for Helium-10 to start logging the results. But the daily process that you would want to execute would be to click that daily business reports, or not daily business reports, but the daily BSR and ad reports. I'll change this text so it makes a little more sense. And this is going to open up your keyword tracker there on the tail end. Actually, you click on the row first, and then it's going to open up all the keywords that you've been tracking, and you actually hit export, and you want to do current result. And that's going to take just a second, and it's going to open you up your window here, and you're just going to go to your Google Drive folder, and I've got Metrix there. So you'll want to drag, once you download that Google Drive desktop app, you'll want to drag the root folder for Metrix over into your favorites here, and it just makes it so much easier. So then you'll go to rank, and then rank new, and you're just going to name it the ASIN. So you actually do need to copy the ASIN first. It would have been smarter if I would have copied that, but let's pretend it's B1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you're going to do an underscore, and then you're going to do the date. So today's the 15th. I'm going to do 11.15.21, and that's it. Then you hit save, and then you got to, if you have multiple ASINs you want to track the organic rank for, you got to download each one just by clicking on the next row, export. The only difference on this one's going to be the other, it's going to be a different ASIN. So once you have all those ASIN files in your rank new folder, then you can actually import that data as well. So let me demonstrate that. I've actually got a test file here. So this is for the one that we're paying attention to right now. So I'm just going to actually move that by right-clicking, move it to the Metrix. You can click that little arrow there, and the rank folder, new, and I'm just going to move it. All right, so now because I don't have any of the other folders in the new subfolders filled with any reports other than that rank folder, then when I refresh it, that's going to be the only thing that updates. And I think that was for what day? That was for the 21st. That date is critical. That's how it knows which day to populate here. So what we'll be looking for is on the 21st, which is not going to make a lot of sense because it doesn't sync with the data we have. So just know that kind of that's how it works. And this data is all, just demo data. So it's going to actually show up right here. But let's go ahead and just click the daily sync. All right, and then I just saw the finished script show up here. I'll probably add a confirmation window. I haven't done that yet, but you can still see it's kind of loading in the background. And what it's doing right there, it's basically going out and pulling in the organic rank results. So if we go back now to our dashboard here, you'll see here in just a second, these will actually fill in. It does take it just a second. All right, and there you go. So that's kind of the process. We've got all of our business report data, all our PPC data. We've got some blank rows hidden here if we want to add more metrics down the road. And then we've got our top 25 keywords here. You can see we've got our top 2 competitors as well. So it's pulling in your Alpha ASIN 1, Alpha ASIN 2. Your current rank as shown from, that's going to be the Cerebro rank. So it's a little different than the Helium-10 organic rank tracker, is going to be a lot more accurate. And this is going to be on a daily basis, remember, because we can add this each day. We're going to come in here every couple days, however you want to do it. and just download the reports here, the business reports here, and then you'll click the daily sync, and then it will update all of your organic rank data and then all the other business and ads data for all your ASINs. So that in a nutshell is how the system works. Obviously there is going to be some other features here. This new ASIN button just adds in new sections below the bottom one, but you can see we've got some blank ones in here, I think up to like maybe 35 to start with. So that button there is just for adding additional ASINs if needed. The Resync order button, that's a new feature that essentially what you can do is reorder your SKU dashboard based on any of these upper level metrics, and we've got some space here to add some custom ones as well. But what you'll be able to do is say I want to organize my metrics dashboard by how much I'm spending. So you change this Z to A, and you can actually delete that blank row if you want. And then we'll come up here and click Resync Order. I'm not going to do it right now, but it will just repopulate the SKU columns here, or the SKU values, and then that will pull in the subsequent data for those SKUs. So then your dashboard will mirror the same sort order as your SKU dashboard. So pretty handy there. The other feature you can use if you double click, what is it? Maybe not double click. Oh, you double click on the actual cell, then you can pick the dates, and all that's going to change is going to change the data in this column. It's not going to really affect or impact any of this, but it can tell you over the course of a certain date span, what are your total metrics, and then it's also going to modify the metrics in this table if you want to see it in that format. So pretty handy there. The other feature here is, I'll have another video that kind of goes into more of this stuff on detail, but it's basically a way you can put in a single date, your ASIN there, and then pick from some additional kind of manual event criteria. We can obviously add as many of these as we want. And then depending on some of the key default ones we've got selected right now, it's going to pull in those data fields into some of these down here. So like notes and events will get pulled in if you want to just log anything specific, like price change, or maybe you created a bunch of new PPC campaigns or what have you. These other ones are some helium-10 tracking fields. Subcategory rank is we've got the BSR will get tracked automatically. You can see here this one, because we only did it for this last day, it's only logged the first day. There's no way to kind of go back with the reports that we're pulling in right now and get historical BSR, but going forward, every time you pull in that pricing report, it'll track your BSR. We can also track the price. That's something I'll probably end up throwing in here shortly. It just kind of, if you do vary your price throughout the month, it's good to kind of see what effect and changes that take place as a result of that. Another feature we'll be adding in here very soon is a clickable way to dive deeper into PPC campaigns, because if you see, it's tracking your spend real nice, but what you may start to see is based on your PPC performance, your sales really start to kind of mimic that. So you might want to dig in and say, okay, what's working well for my PPC campaigns, and have a way to kind of dive further. Yeah, that's Metrix. It's definitely a unique tool. I haven't quite seen anything like this out there that gets kind of to this detail and is this customizable. So hope you like it. Hope this video helped explain kind of the onboarding process. And the main issues I've been seeing people have during kind of the beta testing phase is either they're not pulling the initial correct reports, they have them in the wrong place, they don't have them in the new folders, or they have a desktop file that somehow gets accidentally put in with the Amazon report. So you just want to make sure that the reports that I went over in this video are what are in these subdirectory folders. That's the most important thing in this whole system. And just know that, say if you mess up, you can always move files from imported right over to the new, resync it, and they should come right in. So pretty simple process, pretty simple concept. And if you guys have any suggestions of metrics to add, love to hear them. You know, this tool is definitely going to be a living and breathing tool that's going to evolve over time. One other thing I'll mention, just kind of glancing at things right now, is like ROI. You need to fill in your cost of goods for that type of stuff to fill in, and that's in this column right here. So you can just put in a landed cost there, and some of these other fields will populate. The inventory here, that's going to be what's available at Amazon, what's currently inbound, either like shipping from your 3PL and kind of en route, or reserved is usually I think that's FC transfer or ordered products, something like that. So you can kind of at a glance get an idea there. But just know that the main intent of this tool is to track on a daily basis kind of your core metrics. Sessions is a big one, so that's one that not a lot of tools track, and how that's correlated to conversion rate. So keep a close eye on that on a daily basis. If you start seeing dips like you got here, 139 versus 72 versus 33, something's not quite moving in the right direction there. So you can easily see at a glance what's going on and then start to investigate things further is the intent. So, all right, guys, I will see you on the next video. Appreciate it.